Okay, you men.
Be quiet.
They're right there. We know they're here.
It's a
Redress. Commission. Did you hear something?
Redress right
They'll
back.
hear you.
Alright,
And redress
radio
right
silence.
back.
Everybody, be quiet.
And redress right back.
You're gonna
I
get
know they're
in
around
trouble.
here.
And redress right back.
Quiet, they're right
And
there.
Alright,
redress
get
right
me
back.
back up.
Baby, please.
And redress right
I
back.
want to search this area.
Trouble.
Right
And
here.
redress right back. And redress right
I
back.
know you all hear that.
Redress
Find
right
them.
back.
Find them now.
Baby up.
The legal. I want this whole area quarantined now.
And redress right back.
Nobody is to leave this area at all.
Would you shut that baby up?
I know you heard that.
Make that child be
Find
quiet.
them. Find them now.
Shut that baby up.
All voices done by the Legal Redress Commission. None of this material is copywritten. Feel free to use it as you please.
Pretty good, wasn't it?
Ladies and gentlemen, just wanted to say that some people are still leaving comments that have nothing to do with the subject matter. And so from now on, I'm just gonna be deleting the junk and telling them that they can have a Coke and a smile and go and kiss the log factory. Okay, I just thought I'd help some of you come to understand something interesting. Been up since 5 o'clock this morning. Why? Because I couldn't go to sleep. Why couldn't I go to sleep after I woke up at 5? Because I had a dream. That's right, not Martin Luther, but me. I had a dream. And in my dream, my brother came to me and told me my cousin was in jail. And he was in jail for a possession charge and was asking me what could he do. I said, in the dream, the first thing he should do is he should ask the court from where does their authority derive. Where do they get their power? Where do they get their authority? That they have none. Then he should say, and you have no jurisdiction over this matter. And then what he should say, after he tells them about their authority and their jurisdiction, he needs to have them demonstrate how the law applies to them. Because apparently they're reading some statute or some law. Please understand, the statutes do not apply to you. Now, I don't mean that you should go in there and say, your statutes don't apply to me. No, what I am saying is you make them prove that their statutes apply to you. Please, the assertion of rights, the grantor's assertion of rights, the declaration of executorship, why not have that on file? Why not send that to the presiding judge of all the courts? Why not send that to the Secretary of State, Attorney General's office for your state? Why not? What have you got to lose? A little bit of time? We're about to show you about the stamp issue and about who really rules the world. Universal Postal Union. What the is a Universal Postal Union? Well, let's find out together, because I haven't read this document. I've glanced over it, glimpsed, whatever you want to say, however you want to say it, I did it. We're going to show you some other information as well. So why don't we get started with this Universal Postal Union? There are 14 pages. We're not going to be reading all 14 pages because you got a life, we got a life, you probably got a wife too, but we're going to read some of it, okay? We're going to tell you where you can find this document. Do you see where it says http://www.upu, Universal Postal Union, int for international /frequent FAQ /en/index .s as in Sam HTML. And what does it tell us about their detailed history? Well, let's read. Let's see if we find something. Morpheus and Trinity, thank you for providing this information, and I'm hoping to disseminate this information to others so that they can have an eye-opening experience. Oh, also, Robin, thank you for the information on the mortgage. That was very helpful. Many people have found that information to be very helpful in their case, to know that those documents exist. So thank you. And let's not forget Aquarius and my good friend, the Postmaster. Thank you all for your information as well. Now, if I'm leaving anybody out, I'm sorry. The Academy Award only allows us 3 seconds to give thank yous, and I've already extended that limit, so I apologize if I didn't mention your name on this video, but stay tuned, we might mention your name in the future. Okay, the UPU, the Universal Postal Union in Bern, Switzerland. I believe that's Bernie, you know, or it could be Ernie, Bert and Ernie. I think one of them died, but I don't know. I don't watch that show anymore. Alright, is an extremely significant organization in today's world. Why? It is formulated by treaty. No nation can be recognized as a nation. No nation can be recognized as a nation being in international admiralty in order to have a forum common to all nations for the engaging in commerce and resolving of disputes. So basically, you can't be a nation and then participate in admiralty without being in some way recognized by the UPU. Now it's going to talk about how all nations have a postal service. I didn't even recall or realize that. It's even going to, because I glimpsed over it. Glimpsed, like I said, however you want to say it. And what I gathered, and we'll talk about it in a minute, is that even countries whose postal services are not recognized, they can send mail through other postal service, and when they do that, they have to forward the mail because it's very important. I was discussing this with my man Mr. King, and I told you I'll refer to him as Mr. King. Mr. King was discussing with me how each state is its own country. Remember how all the states were sovereign? And this is going to touch on that just a little bit. But in order for one nation to send anything to another nation, it had to be done through the Postal Service, as they had a treaty with all the other sovereign states. Notice, the Postal Service is the only one who's able to transport any items, including military weapons, military equipment, from one state to the other. Wait a minute. Are we not catching on to something here? Well, let's continue reading and see what we find out. That is why the USA, under the Articles of Confederation, could not be recognized as a country. Every state colony was a sovereign, with its own common laws, which foreclosed other countries from interacting with the USA as a nation in international commerce. Uniform Commercial Code. Today, International Admiralty is a private jurisdiction of the IMF. For those of you who don't know what the IMF stands for, because we're going to talk about the alphabet soup of the acronyms, IMF stands for International Monetary Fund, etc. all. That's what the ETAL stands for, etc. all. The creditor in the bankruptcy is of essentially every government on earth. The IMF, you've heard of them. They're the ones who's giving money to Africa to help feed the little children. They're also the ones in Africa giving money to the new Somalian government that has been recognized by the United Nations. Yes! And also remember Iraq when they went in and they decimated that country and they set up the new government? The United Nations recognized them too, and the IMF was involved. The IMF is involved in everything in the world dealing with commerce, including in this country. You're going to find out about the Social Security number, but let's go on. We'll straighten the page out in just a second. There you go. The UPU, United Parcel Union, operates under the authority of treaties with every country in the world. It is, as it were, the overlords or overseers over the common interactions of all countries in international commerce. Every nation has a postal system, told you, and also a reciprocal banking and commercial relationship. Reciprocal. Anyway, whereby all are within and under the UPU, United Postal Union. Just get that word in your head. We're going to hold on to that word. The United Postal Union is the #1 military. International Admiralty is also military contract mover on the planet. David Wynn Miller has told you about this. I remember when I was a kid, I watched a video in class where they showed the atom bomb in World War II, and the Postmaster General, we're going to get to him in a minute, walks up to the atom bomb and he slaps a postal label on the atom bomb saying, "We're delivering this first class to Japan." And he walks away. People, the United Postal Union is the #1 military contract mover of the planet because they control all the militaries of the world. You don't believe me? Then the next time you go to a naval yard, the next time you see a military vehicle, notice how they have a postal stamp on the side of the equipment, because it's their equipment. When David Wynn Miller, in his quantum language videos, explained quite eloquently that the United Postal Union was bombed in Pearl Harbor, it recalled to my mind that I remembered it was said that no civilian targets were attacked. It was one postmaster general bombing the equipment of another postmaster general. Now, what are we saying here? The postmaster general, notice he's called a general. Aren't generals in the military? That's right, you got it. It's military. The Secretary General of the UN. Let's stay tuned for more information about a military-industrial complex of the world. That's why it says International Admiralty is also military. Admiralty. Look at that. Let's add the military to this. Add military. Anyway, for this reason, one should send all important legal documents. Now, this is important, so let's read it again. For this reason, the reason because they are the #1 military contract mover on the planet, you should send all important legal and commercial documents through the post office rather than the United Postal or Parcel Carrier, UPS, or FedEx, or DHL. DHL is no longer in business. They went out of business because of the competition issue with the other two companies. They were literally forced out of business, but shh, don't tell nobody. No, you want to send it through the United Postal Service. Now, why the USPS, United States Postal Service? For several reasons. Let's talk about that. You see, we want direct access to the authority, the military-industrial complex of the world, and corresponding availability of remedy and recourse of the UPU, because we're always seeking remedy and recourse. For instance, if you post through the U.S. Postal Service or U.S. Post Office and the U.S. Postmaster does not provide you with the remedy you request within 21 days, you can take the matter to the UPU. I'm taking a matter to the UPU because they have not responded. I even filed a lawsuit against them. And you know, the nice little judges dismissed it without a single hearing? Amazing! Well, anyway, let's continue. Oh, I'm sorry. We have opera pulled up. We're going to talk about the Universal Declaration of Human Rights, but we're going to talk about that in a minute. Let's get back to our article, please. Involving the authority of the UPU is it automatically invoked by the use of postage stamps. You mean to tell me if I put a postage stamp on my documents, we'll be doing that today, because I haven't sent out my appeal, but it's going out today, and I'm signing my name through that little stamp. Oh, I'm sorry. Let's get back. If you put a postage stamp on your legal documents and commercial documents, utilizing the stamps by putting it on those documents for clout purposes and not mailing. You're not putting it on the documents to mail them. You're putting them on the documents because of the weight they carry. That's why Winston Stout, I told people they were saying do this, do that, but they weren't explaining. Now we're going to explain why individuals have been using stamps and why they've had certain success with the use of those stamps. Let's finish this paragraph and then we'll add a little tidbit to it. We wish to introduce into the system, so we're going to add some clout to our documents by adding a stamp. As long as you use a stamp of any kind, doesn't matter which one, 2-cent stamp, 1-cent stamp, $100, $1,000 stamps, doesn't matter. Any kind of stamp from the U.S. Postal Service, you are in the game. Ah, you're in the game. You didn't forfeit. You're in the game. Let's go and strike up one for the team. Anyway, if you have time, resources, and the luxury of dealing with something, well, before expiration of a given time frame, you can use stamps that you consider ideal. See, I'm dealing with something, and it's well before the expiration of a given time frame. I am going to use a stamp because I consider it ideal. Anyway, yeah, that's that voice at the end of the video. Alright, the most preferable stamp are the ones that are both large and contain the most colors. See, I'm using the little small stamp, and it doesn't contain a lot of colors. It's called the Silverback Fox stamp. That's the one I'm using. But you can feel free to use the nice little colorful stamps that shows that you're gay. I'm sorry, didn't mean that. I apologize. Colors are good. They are the colors of the rainbow. Anyway, in an emergency situation, or simply if the economy is a consideration, any stamp will do. Using a postage stamp and your autograph on it makes you the postmaster of that contract. Wait a minute, let's read that again because that is so sweet. Let's look at that. Using a postage stamp and placing your autograph through the stamp, you become a postmaster. Not a general, just a postmaster. A master. It's like karate. Like Neil, where he became the... I know karate. You remember that? I remember it. We should all remember that part. Alright, let's continue. You want to be the master. You don't want to be the student anymore. So let's everybody learn how to be a master now. Whenever you put a stamp on a document, inscribe your full name over the stamp at an angle. In color ink, you use this. Excuse me. The color ink you use for this is a function of what color will show up best against the colors of the stamp. Ideal colors for doing this are purple, royalty, blue, origin of the bond of the holder of the contract, and gold, king's edict. Go and get yourself some purple stamps and some gold stamps. I'm going to continue to use blue because blue means human, not copy. The one holding the contract. I want to be the one holding the contract. Avoid red at all costs. Avoid red at all costs. Avoid red ink at all costs for your signature. Obviously, if you have a dark multicolored stamp, you do not want to use purple or blue ink, since your autograph on it will not stand out as well as if you used a light color ink. Gotta go get another pen because my stamps are black and silver. Gotta go get some more pens. Gotta go get some more pens. Gotta say that a couple of times to remind myself because I will forget. I didn't read this, so now I'm understanding what they're saying because I was trying to see how my colors are going to show up. And the fact is, I don't have any other colors. I had purple, but my purple pen stopped writing. What a shame. Gotta throw it away and go get another purple pen. I could take a match to it and make it right, but, you know, who wants to go through the headache? Back to the paragraph, people. Avoid using red ink at all costs. Okay, now, since your autograph on it will not stand out as well if you use lighter color ink that's on the darker stamps, ideally, one could decide on the best color for his autograph and then obtain stamps that best suits one's criteria and taste. Although a dollar stamp is best, it is a luxury unless one is well off financially. Now, oh, okay, I see what they're saying. A dollar stamp. You know how you can buy the $1 stamps that Winston Strout says to put on your documents or your envelopes as you send them to the U.S. Treasury, and other people have said this? Well, here is the reason why. But who can sit up there and afford $25 stamps at one time? I'm sorry, people are hurting financially. So we're going to suggest that you can even use the 44-cent stamp. Or I don't think they make 32-cent stamps anymore, but if you have any of those still lying around, why not, people? Okay, it says otherwise reserve the use of the dollar stamps for crucial instruments, such as travel documents. On your declaration of executorship, add the stamp, sign your name through it. See, mine are notarized, so I have to sign them on the addendum to the document. And then I'll go notarize another one. Or I'll notarize the addendum of the document and get her to re-sign it, whatever I have to do, but I will get it done. Okay, now, the rationale for the using 2-cent stamps is that in the 19th century, the official postage rate for a de jure post office of the United States of America was fixed at 2 cents. Remember, it said it could never change, ever. Remember the old expression, add your 2 cents worth? This denomination should be ideal for most situations. Thus is the reason why I have the 2-cent stamp. And I also showed you on video a letter being mailed to me with a 2-cent stamp affixed. Go ahead and type in Google 2-cent postage and see what you pull up. I think you would be quite interested in your results. Alright, have we learned anything here? I know I have. I've learned quite a bit. As a matter of fact, let's learn quite a bit more. Freddie Jackson and Melba Moore, just a little bit more. Let's learn just a little bit more. Use stamps on important documents such as a check, travel documents, paperwork you put in court. That's what I'm doing. I'm putting it on my court paperwork from now on. Where to put the stamp and how many stamps to use depends on the document. On foundational documents and checks, for instance, put a stamp in the right-hand corner of the instrument. A check is an instrument. We've talked about that. The Uniform Commercial Code also recognizes a check as an instrument. If you're doing a mortgage or any other type of contract, you want to affix a stamp from now on, both on the front and on the back. The bottom right-hand corner on the face of the check, note, promissory note, or bill of exchange. Your money orders, bill of exchange signifies liability. We want you, because that's what we're going to be doing, placing a stamp on your money orders from this point forward. Furthermore, the bottom right-hand corner on the reverse side of the document is the final position of the page, so no one can endorse anything using a restricted endorsement or otherwise after that, such as Now pay attention. The bank's putting without recourse. They're not able to do that at that point. But technically, the without recourse is a restricted endorsement, meaning paid to the order of without recourse. Documents cannot be altered once they're notarized. That is the general principle, but they do a restricted endorsement to do that. There is no law permitting such. You don't get to, that's why I can't put the stamps on my official documents, but I can put them on the copies with my autographs showing that it's an official copy. Technically, you don't need a notary because as a human being, you don't need anyone to say that you're a human being, that to say that your autograph, not signature, but autograph is your autograph. I keep saying signature and I want to correct that. We want to put autograph. Okay? You'll understand the significance when you think about it. Okay, it says you want to have the last word. Now, if you only have one stamp, put it where you are expected to sign an autograph over it crosswise. In case of a traffic ticket, for instance, put a stamp in the lower right corner, right-hand corner, where you are supposed to sign and autograph the stamp at a right angle in the upper left corner to the lower right. Now, I want you to understand this. Please get this. If you receive a traffic ticket, you have 3 days to contest that ticket. So if you have a grantor's assertion of rights declaration of executorship, you want to send a copy of that, and with your copy, make a copy of the ticket, send that into the court as your response, along with a counterclaim. Now, we just showed you how to do a motion. It's real simple. You just put violation of my human rights, the total sum demanded, make it 20,000, 40,000, 10,000. Don't make it 80 billion, quadrillion, brillion, because that won't work. It's unreasonable. Make it reasonable. Remember, your declaration of executorship, I think it mentions something like $40,000 per incident, $20,000 per incident. So keep it along that line. Also include this on each document going out from you, such as legal papers, contracts, and other important papers, and or coming against you, such as court documents and debt collectors, in gold ink pen. Your social security number without dashes across the upper right-hand corner of the front of each page of each document. This is the King's edict, that you are a living soul and not a corporate fiction. People, let's read that paragraph again because I think it's important. Again, thank you Morpheus and Trinity for this information. Also include this on each document going out from you, such as legal papers, contracts, and other important papers. And any document coming to you from the court, debt collector, in gold ink. Go and buy gold ink pens. Hurry, hurry before they run out. Your social security number without dashes, which is called your exempt number. In the right-hand corner of the front, the upper right-hand corner. Upper, see right here, this would be the upper right-hand corner of the document, whatever it is. This is called a King's edict, that you are a living soul, but not just a living soul, a self-aware living soul. See, many people have been using the word living soul, living, breathing soul, blah, blah, blah. Please understand, a bear, a giraffe, a cow, a dog, a horse, a cat, we can go on and on and on. There are millions of animals on the planet. They're all living souls. Can't say living mammal because there are several other mammals species on the planet. However, a self-aware living soul, self-aware human being, scientists have stated that the only thing that separates man from beast is that man is aware of his existence, i.e. self-aware, ergo. Alright, now, it's a King's edict. And if you know anything about kings, there was Darius II who put forth an edict. There was Ahasuerus, many of you know him as Artaxerxes of the Medes and the Persians. He had edicts, and in their edicts, once a king gave a law, gave an edict, it could not be annulled. It could never be changed. King's edict. Pay attention. Gold ink. Remember, gold ink. Now the reason why you put it in gold, because I guess the king was worth his weight in gold. Anyway, alright, let's go back up. Whenever you are disputing a debt, an alleged debt, remember, a debt alleged by a presentment you receive in the mail, do the gold social security number without dashes, the stamp with the autograph, and the seal across the front of the document in an angle, and write the following disclaimer in blue ink. I dispute this debt and all claims to contract in accordance with 15 USC 1692G. Please go and look up this law. 15 USC 1692G. I think you would find it quite informative. We're going to be redoing our debt collection letters with just this information, so I want you to pay attention. This is going to be coming up real soon on our documents. Haven't had the time. We've been working on so many different things, and it took me 3 weeks to get my appeals out. Okay, 3 weeks for 6 appeals. One of them wasn't really an appeal, it was a response to the UPS case. So, have some more time on my hands before I take my little vacation. And while on vacation, I will have access to Wi-Fi and Skype. And while on Wi-Fi and Skype, many of you will be able to get in contact with me during that time. I am off to the Wizard. I am going to go see the Wizard because they have documents that they need to supply to me. In a moment, when I finish this video, I have to call the Wizard's office. Who's the Wizard? Well, they're Wells Fargo Bank, mortgage company. Why? Because they have documents they need to send to me. Freedom of Information Act, Freedom of Information Act, known as a FOIA request. People have been asking me, do you have a template? People, type in Google, FOIA request samples, Freedom of Information Act samples, or FOIA samples. F for freedom, O for of, I for information, A for act. Samples. And you will pull up quite a few samples that gives you an idea of what you need to fill out and how you need to fill out. The templates are already online. There's no reason for me to do them for you when you can do your own research and you can learn for yourself. Now let's get back. Autographing a stamp not only establishes that you are the postmaster of the contract, but constitutes a cross-counter claim. Using a stamp process on documents presents your adversaries with a problem because their jurisdiction is subordinate to that of the UPU, which you have now invoked for your benefit. So let's say you get arrested and the judge wants you to sign some release papers. You say, sorry, excuse me, sorry, your ignorance. I can't sign this. No, not without my stamp. I know I don't sign. Nope, that's the rule. That is my rule. So you have my property. I need to get one of my stamps to place over this document. We're not doing that. We're not going to allow you to. Excuse me, but first, it's my property. And you're talking about releasing my property to me, so why not let me have access to one of my stamps? You have your fiduciary officer right here. He can go to my property. I don't mind camping out for one more night while you get me a stamp so that I can fill out this document properly, because it's my estate. It's required under my estate. Well, does anybody have a stamp? We have stamps. Oh, I don't mind using one of your stamps. No, any stamp that's a U.S. postal stamp, it's okay. And I can replace it. I don't mind. Well, thank you very much. Okay, y'all have a good day. All right, let's go on. Using the stamp process on document presents them with some problems. The results in practice of doing this, now this is the results in practice. In other words, some people have done it and it has worked, some people have done it and it hasn't worked. But the results of practice in doing this is that whenever those who know what you are doing are recipients of your documents with autographed stamps, they back off. If they do not, take the matter to the U.S. Postmaster to deal with. If he will not provide you with your remedy, take the matter to the UPU for them to clean up. I love this. I love this. Somebody has just given us some power. We didn't have a lot of power before. Somebody has just given us some power. Why? Because we placed a stamp over it, we now invoke the UPU. We go to the postmaster, and the postmaster says, H-E double triple quadruple L, no. And we say, really? Are you sure? And he says, let me say it again. Okay, we say, no problem. And we contact the UPU. And we say, we took it to the postmaster, and he told us to get them out of his face. And we say, we need remedy. And they say, well, look, we're going to get our cleanup crew out there. And you know what happens when we get a cleanup crew. We take care of things. We have power now. We didn't have power before. I have a postmaster that's been giving me problems. And I was going to call the postal inspectors on them, but the postal inspectors acted like, we ain't doing nothing. I don't care what he said to you. I don't care if he's not sending out your mail. The countries whose stamps would be most effective are that of China, Japan, United States, Great Britain. Utilizing these countries cover both East and West. However, since the U.S. seems to be the point man in implementing the New World Order, one might most advisably use U.S. stamps, and we would suggest using the U.S. 2-cent stamp, as that was the last authorized stamp under the de jure United States of America. That's right, de jure. It's not that anymore, it's the corporation. See, this is the United States of America, the Union of States, but now we have the corporate state. Now, if you put your stamp on your documents you submit into court, put a stamp on the back of each page at the bottom right-hand corner, about ½ an inch from each border. Then sign your full name in blue ink. Now, my name is going to be really, really nice across my stamps because it's going to be in blue ink. Now, let me make sure that I help some of you understand why they're not saying gold ink. I do understand this. Only because of practice. I filed each of these 6 cases in the court. Now, normally the courts would have refused filing because they were all filed under fee waiver. Normally the courts would have refused filing and would have demanded that I pay the fee. But they accepted each of the documents, including the ones that were against judges. They knew they were against judges and they filed them anyway. That was a good thing for me. I was a happy person because I'm like, wait a minute, I used the blue ink signature, and they accepted all of the documents. There's got to be something to this blue ink thing. What I knew that black means copy. Blue means that a live person had to have initiated it. And that was only because they didn't have color ink back in the day, only black. So blue ink, somebody had to pay some money to get some blue ink, because that took some work. And you had blood, you could sign in blood. Who wants to sign in blood? Anyway, now it says diagonally in the upper left hand corner to the right hand corner of the stamp. So you're going to sign your name in blue ink at the bottom right hand corner of the back side, and on the front side about 1 inch from the border. Why? Because court documents, there has to be a 1 inch space around the entire document. That's why if you look at any motion to the court, the lines, when it has the 2 lines, that lets them know that they have room to write in those lines. What you're going to do is you're going to be preventing them from writing in those spaces. Now it says do not place any stamps on the front of your court paperwork. That is nice to know, since doing so alarms the clerk. By placing your autograph stamps on the reverse upper right hand corner, you prevent being damaged by one of the tricks of the judges these days. Wait, let's read that again. By placing your autograph stamp on the reverse lower right hand corner, you prevent being damaged. Okay, I think that's a sentence mishap. Because the tricks that the judge used, you stop their tricks, them writing on your document and doing this. Okay, the judge might have your paperwork on his bench, but turned over so only the backside, which is ordinarily blank on every page, is visible. Then if you ask about your paperwork, he might say something like this:
Yes, I have your paperwork in front of me, but I didn't find anything.
He can't see anything on the blank side of the page. If you place an autograph stamp on the lower right corner, you foreclose a judge from engaging in this trick. Remember, I told you that one judge said that I just submitted to him a random document because he wasn't looking at the typeface of the document. He was looking at the back of the document where there was nothing written. Remember, the rule of the court is you can only write or type on one side of the document. It cannot be two-sided. Look at this unique trick that we have just figured out together. So we're going to be placing our stamps on the reverse side of every single document. I got 300 stamps. I'm going to get to stamping. I don't know about the rest of y'all. I'm now opening up my drawer. I am so glad I went and got those 2-cent stamps, and now I'm going to tell all of you, we now have a reason for the 2-cent stamps. You with me? You follow me? You got me? Well, let's do this. Like Tone Loc said, let's do it. Wild thing. Anyway, now let's go to the next paragraph, shall we? I told you we were going to learn a lot together today, because I'm learning a lot. I'm putting pieces together. Are you putting pieces together? I hope we're putting pieces together so that we can put a puzzle together. Alright, in addition, when it comes to the court documents, the front side is civil, the back side is criminal. Next, you seal with your right thumbprint in red ink on the back side of your court documents. Your red thumbprint should go to the right side at or above the stamp. The right side at or above the stamp. So either right next to the stamp or just catty corner to the stamp. This provides evidence that you processed and canceled obligation on the civil side, since there can be no assessment of criminal charges, and you show that you are the holder of the civil assessment, and there is no way out for the court. People, I'm on my way right now to get my red thumb stamp. That's how important this is. I actually want to stop this video right now to go do this, but I'm not going to. I'm going to finish this because we need to go through this together so that I can get this video out to you today. I want you to go grab hold of this document. Now, pretty much what I'll do, because we have a lot more to cover, and let's see how long have I been talking, because I'm not going to make this video that long, but I want to cover everything. 42 minutes thus far. So let's see if we can pick up the pace like UTFO, the Untouchable Force Organization. Okay. No assessment of criminal charges, and you show that you are the holder of the civil assessment and there's no way out for the court. Also, in any court document you put in, handwrite your social security number without dashes in gold at the top right corner. Blue, gold. Go and get yourself a blue, purple, and gold pen. Walmart has them. They're about $3 for the pack. Blue, purple, gold. You can also go, if you want a better quality pen, Office Max, the company that shouldn't be in business but still in business, which amazes me, or Staples. Blue, purple, gold. Those are the pens that you want to go grab hold of. I know many of you are running out of your houses right now, but wait, don't leave! Stay and listen to the rest of the video! Okay. Use of a notary combined with the postage stamps And sometimes embassy stamp gives you priority mechanism. I'm sorry, Mariah Carey singing Bye Bye. She's ringing on the other side over there, and I gotta go answer that, so hold on, please. Alright, ladies and gentlemen, we're back. That was a friend calling me, telling me that he went to go file his grantor's assertion of rights, executor declaration ship, with the county clerk in New York, and the clerk accepted the document, but because of the number of pages, charged him $75. I promise you it's worth it. Plus, he lent me $60, so I told him, pay the $75. It's only going to cost you $15, because I'm sending you back your $60. He says, no, you don't have to send it back. I said, yes, I do. He says, no, you don't. Yes, I do. He says, what did I say? I said, what did I say? He said, what did I say? I said, what did I say? He said, what did I say? I said, let me give you a story. So there's this man named Abraham. Abraham went to a king. This king helped Abraham out. I believe his name was Abimelech. Abimelech says, look, here, you're my guest, and I'm going to provide this for you, this for you, this for you. And Abraham came back to repay him for all of his good, kind services. And the king says, no, 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 you can't do that. You will not insult me by paying me back for my hospitality. Abraham said, look, I'm not insulting you. I'm just trying to help you understand that I put my trust and my faith in my God, and He provides for me. I don't want anybody to ever say that they're the ones who made Abraham rich. So please, I would like to be able to say that my God provided for me. Will you please allow me that satisfaction? And the king says, well, okay, since you put it that way, fine. Well, my friend said the same thing when I told him the story. People, that's why I won't accept payments from you. That's why I do this for free. When I tell you that I am living off of $674 a month, I'm telling you that I'm doing okay. I'm living completely within my means, and when I need extra, extra comes. So I am well taken care of. Alright, let's continue. Now, use of the notary combined with the postage stamps and sometimes embassy stamps
gives you priority mechanism.
Mechanism. What's a mechanism? Let's find out. Everything is commerce. Everything.
And all commerce is contract. Everything is commerce, and all commerce is contract.
The master of the contract is the post office, and the UPU is supreme
Overlord of the commerce.
The master of the contract is the post office because you utilize their postage stamp. The UPU is over the post office.
They're the supreme overlords.
And this is
Commerce, banking, postal system world.
all combined, all one. The United Postal Union.
Okay. Now, use of these stamps in this manner gets attention of those in the system to whom you provide your paperwork.
It makes you the master of that post office. That's why you can do tax per Q. I'm even going to do it on some of my envelopes. That's right. That's right. Oh, by the way, here's something else we want you to do. When you're sending paperwork to the court, we want you to send it certified. I know it's a cost. I know it costs. I know it costs. I know it costs. For now, we're not talking about tax per Q. But we want you to affix, and if you're doing tax per Q, then it doesn't cost you. All right. We want you to affix the number for the certification on your document. So write certified mail number and put that on your document. I got to do that this morning too. This is going to be a long morning. Anyway, the reason why you're going to do that, because you're going to be affixing the document to the envelope, so you're going to be creating a paper trail, paper chain, so that you can utilize the UPU. Okay, let's do. It makes you the master of your post office. Use of stamps is especially important when dealing with major players such as the FBI, the CIA, the Secret Service, the U.S. Treasury Department, and we know who's part of the U.S. Treasury Department. Who is that? It is those idiots. The idiots. The idiots at the IRS, the Internal Revenue Service. If they're not part of the United States, who are they part of? They're part of the IMF. That's why they're internal. They're internal part of the IMF. Why? Because the U.S. Treasury Department is part of the the IMF. Now, we're having all these acronyms, and it's called the acronym alphabet soup. We almost got mixed in that soup, didn't we? They understand the significance of what you are doing. Many times, they hand documents back to someone using this approach and say, "Have a good day, sir." They don't want any onwards repercussion coming back on them. So let's play. Are you all ready to play their game? We want to become major players. I want to become an all-star player. I want to be the one who makes it to the all-star game. People say, well, are they going to cause you any problems? No, they can't cause me any problems because I know, I think it was either Chicken Little, Tom Slick, or George of the Jungle. One of those three cartoons, it said he knew the job was dangerous when he took it. Is this a dangerous job? It's only a dangerous job if you go through the system and want to make somebody do something. You can't force anybody to do anything. I don't care if you're the executor, grantor, beneficiary, governor. You can't make anybody do anything. But what you can do is you can go through the process, and if somebody says no, then what you do is you keep coming at them until they get tired of you. There's a part in the Bible where Jesus says this woman went to this judge, and well, she was a widow, and this guy was coming at her and causing her problems, and she said, "Please give me redress with my adversary at law." And the judge, "Get on out of here, I ain't got time for you." And the woman just kept pummeling this judge, just kept going back and back and back to him, till finally the judge says, all right, if this is what it takes to get this woman off my back, I will give her what she wants, so she'll be gone. And he gave her redress. People, ever since I heard that story as a kid, that's been me. And I tell every single court I deal with, I put it in my motions. You have never met someone as tenacious as I am. I will keep coming until you understand that I am not going to stop. And you've heard me say that. If they dismiss a motion, I appeal it. If they dismiss that, I appeal that. If they dismiss that, I appeal that. And I keep appealing. And then I start all over again in the lower courts, and I work myself up again, and I start all over again, and I work myself up. And now I got different avenues to use, and then I use those. And I come at them from different angles. Why? Because eventually I'm going to get redress of one kind or another. But I guarantee you, I am going to get redress. Right.org. All right, let's get back. Now, if anyone asks you why you are doing what you are doing, suggest that they consult with their legal counsel for the significance. It is not your job to explain the law to anyone, including the court, nor explain such things as your exemption or set-off account. There's no reason for you to explain anything. The system hangs us by our words. So stop talking. The judge asks you a question, take his question and turn it back on him. If he asks you, why are you doing this? You say, well, do I not have the right to do this? If he asks you, did you drive the wrong way on a one-way street? I don't know. Did I? I'm not here to play games. I'm sorry, did you think that this was a game? I don't think that you were hired to play games. Now, if this is a game, then what am I doing here? I don't want to participate in a game. I thought this was serious. Are you catching me? There's no reason for you to get caught up in words. Of course they play word games, word magic. So take their words and throw it right back at them. Do you understand what I'm saying to you? Well, I'm sorry, it depends on what you mean by understand. I mean, please explain to me what you're saying. And could you explain it in English? Because sometimes you people, you talk in a different language and it's hard to understand you. So could you please explain it in modern day English? I'm a reasonable man and I promise you I can understand.
Can only be in a language that any reasonable man or woman will understand.
So I'm a reasonable man and I promise you I'll understand. Okay, let's get back. See, we have to give them evidence, information, contracts, and legal documentation that is required to convict us. The wise words of Calvin Coolidge, the most taciturn, or taciturn? I have no idea what that is. Taciturn? Taciturn? Anyway, president in U.S. history are apt. We asked why he spoke so little. He replied, I have never been hurt by anything I didn't say. Do you understand the reason why he spoke so little? And that doesn't apply to me because as you can see, I speak a lot. But the reason why he spoke so little is because he could never put his foot in his mouth. Pretty good for a president. I mean, look at the two idiots, the last 4 idiot presidents, no, the last 8, no, the last 15. Ooh, man, let's go all the way back. Look at all the idiot presidents who've ever sat in the United States, and look at how many times they put their foot in their mouth because they spoke too much. All right, so let's do the bottom line, and then this is going to be the last part. We only made it to page number 3. It's a lot more information here, but then that means that you're going to have to do the research. And we're going to scan through the documents slowly so that you can pause the video and read what it says. The bottom line is that whenever we need to sign any legal commercial documents, put a stamp, even a 1-cent stamp, over where you sign and sign at an angle across it. Let the recipient deal with the significance and the consequences of your actions. Now, if you're if you're in a court case or at any stage of a proceeding, such as an indictment, summons, complaint, or other hostile encounters with the system, immediately those of you who have cases going on right now, why not try this? I don't even know what it's going to say, but let's take a look at what it's going to say. Make a color copy of whatever document you receive. Scan them in color into your computer. Put a stamp in the lower right-hand corner of the back of each page and autograph it, and place the date over the top of your stamp and your gold social security number without dashes just over the date. Then seal it with a red thumb ink print, being careful to overlap both the stamp and your digital autograph. So you want to put your thumb ink print where it covers your autograph partially and the stamp partially, and the thumb ink print is visible on the page as well, where all 3 are visible, where they overlap. That's actually, I like that. Then it says, write your social security number in gold ink on the front upper right hand corner of each page. If you have an autograph, also put the autograph stamp on the upper right hand corner of the first page just under the gold social security number without dashes, and the lower right hand corner of the back of every page. Make a color copy of your finished documents you receive and scan them in color into your computer. That's if you have a computer scanner. A lot of you don't have a computer scanner, and I apologize. But we'll cover some of that in a minute. That means you'll have to do every document separately. I include the postal stamp canceled by affixing a postal stamp at the bottom right hand corner of each page. See example below. The autograph in blue diagonally across the top of each stamp equals canceling it, and putting the social security number in gold without dashes at the top right upper corner without dashes for the postmaster identification and the redemption number. Social security redemption numbers without dashes. And sign your name at the bottom of the stamp. Now this one is different. Sign your name at the bottom of the stamp. We're going to have to look at this right here. For those who are the de jure country, use your great seal to the left of your autograph and overlap your autograph at least 1/4 of an inch. Then use your postmaster seat directly above the stamp shown as shown. If you use your great seal, do not use the red right thumb print seal. I'm going to have to go get me some seals made, people, because I don't have any, and I'm going to need some. Alright, let's take a look at this, and this is, here's the thing. This is where you're going to sign your name. You're going to autograph your name across like this. Okay? You're going to, this is at the bottom of the right hand corner. That's why it's here at the right hand corner. Your red thumbprint, you're going to put, I'm going to suggest you put it right in this area, right here, over the stamp, right here. Social Security number without the dashes and the date. You can do this on your envelopes as well. Your postmaster seal. Now what's the postmaster seal? Let's go back up and look at it again. We have to go back. Alright. Postmaster seal directly. Let's go up so that we can find, because it talks about the postmaster seal in the upper right hand corner. Remember, the postmaster seal goes in the upper right hand corner. Then it says use your great seal on the left of your autograph and overlap the autograph at least 1/4 inch. Then use your postmaster seal directly above the stamp. Oh, I'm sorry, that is not your postmaster seal. So we're going to have to go back through the document because I forgot what the postmaster seal is. Well, we don't have much time, so I'm going to scan through the document, and whenever it bunches up every single page, I'll do this so that it clears up so that you can go and you can read it. Okay? And as a matter of fact, let's do it this way. Hopefully, do you see this? Okay, some of the paragraphs are lapping up, so let's see if we can get them to straighten up. And then we're just going to go through every page like this, and the only thing you have to do, and I'll stop like this, so that all you have to do is pause the document, and you can read the whole document this way. Uh-oh, it jumped. It can't jump. I don't want it to jump. So we're going to go back here. Okay. My doggies are a little excited this morning, so I'm going to have to go out there and see why they're so excited. Probably cows again. But I'm also expecting the UPS. They're delivering their package. This is the history of the Postal Union. I have to put you on pause. Okay, we're back. Now we need to finish scanning this document so that you can see what it talks about. And I forgot I was doing it this way. This is the history of the UPU. It shows how the organization came about. It also lets you know pretty much that, well, we don't have a United States. Our money is no longer backed by gold. And it talks about this information as an education for you, because most people have been hearing about these things, but nobody's been really supplying the information to sustain their arguments that this has been going on, that's been going on, and so forth. It also gives you the actual publication where you can find this information. There is an Admiralty Court here in the United States. Now this is a website, and it's at Cornell Law University, and this is Assessment Authority under 6201, and many of you have seen that law in some videos. Now, notice the highlighted section. That's what got my attention. You see where it says, which have not been duly paid by stamp at the time in the manner provided by law. Such authorities shall extend to include the following. Tax shown on return. please read this, those of you who are interested, and go over it. Remember, this information is now being provided for the two of us. I have somebody calling me from New York, so I'm going to have to pause this one more time, and it will be 1 second. Okay, sorry about that. Had to take that call. That person and I were talking about the wonderful people who have left wonderful comments on my page. And I had to explain to that person who knows me what I had to do. And their comment was, "Oh, they took you there?" I said, "No, I had to take them." And so there won't be any more conversations about that from now on and in the future, because from now on, if anybody leaves a negative comment regarding the way I do my videos, I'm so sorry, but I will delete you so quickly and so fast that you will not even recognize that your post actually stayed up there. And I will block you from accessing my account and leaving comments. You can try it through somebody else's YouTube account or whatever. It's okay. I'll block you from that one, and I'll keep blocking you till you understand. These are the numbers for the Postal Service, the UPU, United Postal Union. Okay, but they're all, as you can see, foreign numbers. Long distance. Now here's the address. Universal Postal Union International Bureau, Case Postale. So when you want to file a case, and they're in Switzerland. I didn't even know they were in Switzerland. Good thing they're not in Geneva. But these are the, let's get the page to straighten up. These are the web addresses. I'm hoping that you can see them. And what I'm going to do, because I won't be able to let you see this section on this side. Let's straighten it up. Okay. Won't be able to let you see this section on this side. Okay. And this section while blowing it up. But now that you've seen it so far, let's take a look. Let's see what we got. These are the numbers. And let's straighten up this side. There you go. Alright, standards, statistics, whatever that is, info, postcode, publications, and I would definitely suggest some of you go to publications. These are email addresses. I thought it was websites, but I never really looked at it. So those are email addresses. Or for some of you wonderful, 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 wonderful people, and you really are marvelous. I mean, you're really marvelous. Anyway, let's bring you down here to the bottom so that you can see. Now, this is just the section saying that there are some, remember I told you that there are some countries, that's why I know because I read this section, whose post offices are recognized, but whose are various other non-recognized countries such as Somaliland, Sealand, Turkish Republic of Northern Cyprus need to have their mail routed to third countries, as the UPU will not allow direct international deliveries. The UPU says, no, you're not mailing anything through our services. You have to do it through third parties. Those are the ones. Okay, as I mentioned before, we're going to go down. We've already done that. That's the address. Bernie 15, Switzerland 3000, Bernie 15. And this is a Jurat. I don't know who Jurat is, but it's a Jurat notary seal. And ladies and gentlemen, that's the end of this document. Now, as I promised, and I did promise, we got some other documents to cover. Let's close this, and we're going to say yes. Uh-oh. This is my AVG. It wants to do a scan. I'm saying postpone. Now, let's see. these are some web addresses. Please write these down because you're going to find that this information is going to be helpful. The Greg Lux Blogspot. I told you I don't really like blog spots, but we're going to find it's going to be interesting utilizing those blog spots. Now, this is some more information we got from Morpheus and Trinity. And Neo. Legal versus lawful. Now, I can't tell you how to get this document, but I know this is talked about often. This goes over terms. Again, we're going to do the same thing with this document as we did with the last. This is only 2 pages. I would love to go over this information now, but why not allow you to read it for yourself? Because you'll get a better understanding of legal terms, of legalese. What is the difference between legal and lawful? And do you need a license for anything? The word license in Black's 5th edition law dictionary says it means, can I get permission? Will you please allow me? Next, we need to take notice of the fact that if a license is permission, then it follows that we must have asked for permission. I don't want to ask for permission for doing something I have the right to do, such as people telling me that I can't joke on my videos when I've got the right, like I have to ask them for their permission. Now, somebody asked me, am I going to be doing a video on habeas corpuses? People, take the word habeas. You look up the legal definition for habeas. It means to produce. Corpus, meaning body, like a corpse. Produce the body. Now, why would you do a motion to produce the body? And it's not just a motion. And like you said, we're not going to use motions. We're going to use writs. Writs, W-R-I-T. Look up the legal definition for what is a writ. Okay? Now, by doing that, now you understand what a habeas corpus is. Then you put in Google, habeas corpus samples. And there you go. See, Morpheus. Got this from Morpheus and Trinity. And you're Neil. Well, got this from those guys, and I appreciate the information very much. It has proved very helpful, and I know a lot of people are going to get some information, gather something from it. Now, let's go. We got to go to the web. Now, here's some other important information. Remember, I told you that you want to bring up human rights? If the UPU and everything is under the United Nations right now, and the UPU has placed everything under the United Nations, and all the judges work for the United Nations as per so many laws, the United Nations recognizes human rights. It's the Universal Declaration of Human Rights. And we're going to cover the preamble. Like I said, we're going to go through this because I have to do that work on my appeals. I have to add my stamps. Just like you have to add your stamps, I'm going to add my stamps. Whereas recognition of inherent dignity and the equal and inalienable rights of all members of the human family is the foundation of freedom, justice, and peace in the world. Whereas disregard and contempt for human rights have resulted in barbarous acts which have outraged the conscience of mankind. Self-aware and advent of a world in which human beings shall enjoy freedom of speech, belief, and freedom from fear and want has been proclaimed as the highest aspiration of the common people, common law, whereas it is essential, if man is not to be compelled to have recourse as a last resort to rebellion against tyranny and oppression, that human rights should be protected by the rule of law. Human rights comes before law. Whereas it is essential to promote the development of friendly relations between nations. We got to go with the whereases because that's what they're talking about. we're here. Whereas peoples of the United Nations have in the Charter reaffirmed their faith in fundamental human rights, fundamental, foundational human rights, in the dignity and worth of the human person, and in the equal rights of men and women, and have determined to promote social progress and better standard of life in larger freedom, whereas member states have pledged themselves to achieve and cooperate with the United Nations the promotion of universal respect for and observance of human rights and fundamental freedoms, whereas common law, common understanding of these rights and freedoms is of the greatest importance for the full realization of this pledge.
Now, therefore, the General Assembly proclaims this Universal Declaration of Human Rights as a common standard of achievement for all people and of all nations, to the end that every individual and every organ of society keeps this declaration constantly in mind, shall strive by teaching and education to promote, respects these rights and freedom, progressive measures in nations and international, secure their rights, universal and effective recognition and observance, both among, sorry, I'm looking for my battery because I've been going at this for several hours and I did not allow my batteries to charge. No solar at 5 a.m. in the morning. Okay, that's it. We're on battery power. All right. Both among the people and member states in themselves and among the people and territory and jurisdictions. So let's go down, shall we? Article 1. Let's look at Article 1. We're not going to look at the entire Universal Declaration of Human Rights. This is what it says. All human beings are born free and equal in dignity and rights. They are endowed with reason and conscience and should act toward one another in a spirit of brotherhood. Reason and conscience, self-aware. Everyone is entitled to all rights and freedoms as set forth in this declaration without distinction of any kind, status, or country. You can bring this in your case. Since the United States is a member of the United Nations, you can raise this in your case. Everyone has the right to life, liberty, and security of person. Notice it didn't say property. You do see that, right? No one shall be held in slavery or servitude. Slavery and the slave trade shall be prohibited in all their forms, including voluntary. No one is to be held in slavery or servitude. But again, this document has not been, I have not seen any individuals deciphering this document. This is what you need to decipher. The United States is part of the United Nations. Since the judges are now operatives of the United Nations, they have to abide by this document. So now make them. Go into court, bring up your human rights, and tell these idiots they took an oath not only to the United States but to the United Nations to uphold the Declaration of Human Rights and the Constitution. If you don't have constitutional rights, you most assuredly have human rights. So bring up your human rights, people. Let them know that you are a self-aware, conscious human being. Let them know that you have human rights. And tell them they're under obligation to honor, recognize, and protect your human rights. Let's read it. All are equal before the law. All are entitled without any discrimination to equal protection of law. All are entitled to equal protection against any discrimination in violation of this declaration and against any incitement to such discrimination. I didn't read this. I already know that this declaration was going to cover this. Everyone has the right to recognition everywhere as a person before the law. Now, that's a problem right there. So we must make sure of what type of person, a self-aware human being, before the law, not after the law. Before the law, not after the law. Remember, this was written by lawyers as well. United Nations was set up by the United States of America. That's right. Most of you don't know that. 1945, originally it was Woodrow Wilson who set up the League of Nations, which didn't work. It bombed. Here are laws in America most don't know, but should know. So he's going to tell us some laws. So let's see what laws. Oh, I'm sorry. Let's blow this up. We're blowing up. Uh-oh, can't use those words over the telephone anymore. You can't say things like blow up. By the way, this is the site, the blog spot that we showed you earlier. You'll have to go back and look it up. But it's Greg Luck, LOUCK.blogspot.com /2008 /12 American -law -most -Americans -don't -no .html. The IRS is not a U.S. government agency. It is an agency of the IMF, International Monetary Fund. Told you. I told you. See, I was right. Diversified Metal Products and the IRS. This is an actual case. The IMF, International Monetary Fund, is an agency of the United Nations. Then we have Black's Law 6th edition, page 816, that helps us to understand that. And look, you can click here and it will take you there. Like the Staple Singers and BB and CC, they'll take you there. All right. The United States has not had a treasury since 1961. This is 41 Statute at Large, Chapter 214, page 654. Go take a look and notice that the United States Treasury doesn't exist in the United States, that the U.S. Treasury is a foreign entity. The U.S. Treasury is now the IMF. Whoa, whoa, whoa. The U.S. Treasury is now the IMF? You mean the U.S. Treasury is not part of the International Monetary Fund, but it is the International Monetary Fund? Uh-oh. Presidential Document, Volume 24, Number 4, Page 4. Number 4, Page 113, 22. U.S. Code 285-2887. Well, we're not finished. We have to go further. Oh, it's not letting me do that. I have to do this. The United States does not have any employees because there is no longer a United States. No more reorganizations. After over 200 years of bankruptcy, it is finally over. Executive Order 12803. Please go look at Executive Order 12803 and see what it says. The alphabet soup. The FCC, CIA, FBI, NSA, NASA, NASA, and all the other alphabet gangs were never part of the United States government, even though the United States government held stock in each of these agencies. U.S. versus Strang. U.S. versus Strang. And that is a federal court. Before the Supreme Court, a decision made. What did they say? The new SS5 forms that you fill out do not state who publishes them, while the old form said it was the Department of Treasury. So your Social Security form is now a Department of the IMF. CFR, the Council for Foreign Relations, also talks about that information. There's no judicial courts in America, and have not been since, gotta straighten up the page. Page, straighten up. Okay. We have to go up. Judicial courts have not been since 1789. Judges do not enforce statutes and codes. Judges do not enforce statutes and codes. Executive administrators enforce statutes and codes. And here is where you can find that law. Amazing, isn't it? Aren't we learning so much in one video? That's what we're here for. We're not here for the lackeys. Okay, let's continue, shall we? We shall. We already did that. According to GATT, the General Agreement of Tariffs and Trade, GATT, you've heard of GATT, not GAP, but GATT, not fall into the gap, but fall into the GATT. You must have a Social Security number. You must have. It is mandatory. GATT says you must have a Social Security number. House Report 103-826. New York City is defined as, in federal regulations, CFR, as the United Nations. Rudolph Giuliani stated on C-SPAN, New York City is the capital of the world. For once, the idiot told the truth. CFR, Council on Foreign Relations, Chapter 11, Subpart B, 44.103, B2 and 2. It tells us that the United Nations, located in New York City, is the capital of the world. Social Security is not insurance or a contract, nor is there a trust fund. But didn't everybody else say there's a trust fund? You have a trust fund set up? But they're saying no, it is not, and they're providing you proof of a case that was actually heard that says no, it is not. Your Social Security check comes directly from the International Monetary Fund. It says United States Department of Treasury in the top left corner. It used to say that, but it says it now. I'll have to go and look at my check to see if it says that, and then I will show it to you. You do not own property. Slaves cannot own property. Read carefully your deed and you'll see. And this is the 73rd Congress, first session. This is that HJR 192 session. Don't believe me? Go look. Okay. The most powerful court in America is not the United States Supreme Court, but is the court in Pennsylvania. The King of England financially backed both sides of the American War. Sorry, this is somebody else calling. No, this is 8 o'clock in the morning. So far, 5 calls so far this morning. All right, one moment. Ladies and gentlemen, I am back. Now, this is the site I told you about, and this is where you're going to go to find that the United States is a corporation, not a landmass, and it existed before the Revolutionary War. British troops didn't leave until 1796. We've been lied to, people. We've been lied. They've lied to us. Okay, I'll be back. Anyway, here we go. The Pope can abolish any law of the United States. Elements of the Ecclesiastical Law, Volume 1, 53-54. Please, take a look at this site. Tell me what you think about it. Tell me if you think the information is accurate or if it's not accurate. That's the information we need. This is The Informer. UCC definitions, articles from The Informer. We don't need no stinking voyages. The United States is still a British colony. 7 parts to that. It ain't like you think it is. Persons. This is this site. It's because I tried going to one of the other sites. Genesis of the Emergency War Power Act. How did it get put together? What is it about? Can we find out more? Go here. Take a look. Tell me what you think. Alright, now one more site. This is the Family Guardian. We're going to tell people Family Guardian is at Family Guardian, no hyphen, Family Guardian, all one word, .org. Go to the Family Guardian. I promise you, you will find some interesting information. For instance, what do they talk about? Well, spirituality, but we're not here to talk to you about spirituality. We're going to talk to you about sovereignty and freedom, taxation, law and government, property and privacy protection, scams and frauds. Let's see, what else? Someone told me about this site. I've been to Family Guardian before. As you see, it does have some religious overtones, but we're not going to harp on that. And they have humor. So I'm told people tell me that I can't use humor. They said you can't use humor on your site. What's humor got to do with the law? Huh? Tell me. That's what I'm hearing. Oh, well, I said I wasn't going to talk about that anymore, but you can see it had an effect. Dealing with ignorance and stupidity. What a wonderful world. Money, banking, credit, and frauds. Let's go with sovereignty and freedom. I want to go with law and government. Let's go with sovereignty. Law and government. Sovereignty. Law and government. You win.
Thank you.
Anyway, we're going to let that pull up, and then we're going to go to one more site. Team Law. Team Law. Go to Team Law. Teamlaw.org. Team, T-E-A-M, Law, L-A-W. Teamlaw.org. And they have a mirror site at teamlaw.net. Teamlaw.org is www. However, teamlaw.net is not www, not according to this. So it's teamlaw.net, teamlaw.org. It is impossible to obey, honor, and sustain or comply with the law if you do not know what the law is. So why don't you go to these sites and learn, learn, learn? That's right. Against the grain press, the Informer. We were just talking about the Informer a moment ago. And see, slaves. George Mercer's invisible contracts. Hey, shouldn't you learn about the invisible contracts? Rule of Law Radio. Richard Confort, Secret of the Legal Industry. And there you go. See, that's what we do here. We provide information. Sorry, it couldn't go to the Family Guardian. Oh, that's right, my PDA net. I was tethering and I received several phone calls. So it says no more tethering. So that's off. But we'll go to it later. Alright, once again, want to thank you for joining us here at the Legal Redress Commission at redressright.org and YouTube /user/redressright. We're also on Skype and Google Talk at redress.right. Okay, redress with a period, right, R-I-G-H-T. Thank you once again. We hope that all of you have enjoyed this information. We hope that it has proved quite beneficial at 1 hour and 29 minutes. However, it took 2.5 hours to do this video with all the breaks and the holding on and doing all of that. But we did this so that you could have the information. Remember, gold stamp, purple stamp, blue stamp. Ink, blue ink stamps. Just remember, you want to use stamps on your documents from now on, name sent through the stamp. Use a red thumbprint. You don't necessarily have to use the red thumbprint, but we're going to suggest you do it. Go all out on this, people. Let's see what works, what doesn't work. Give us some heads up on what works, what doesn't work. And you'll see, we will do this together. Because apart, we are no one, but together we can overcome. Who was it? We shall overcome? No, we're not talking about that overcoming. We are talking about how we can change this system if we work together. Are you all willing to work together? Just remember, all of these other sites have teams. We're putting together our own team, but up until this point, one person covering over 15 different aspects. So the research has been overwhelming. Because if you're studying 15 different things at one time, the human mind was not designed to multitask. It was not. That's why the majority of the population cannot multitask. Okay, let's get back to the reality of the measure. We have come a long way. The information is evolving. All of this is theory for the most part. But we are now putting substance to theory, which is now making it more fact than theory. So, let's work together. Let's get this done. What do you say? Let's take one for the Gipper. We're out of here.
I told you,
This is Robert Master
to start that exit!
From redressright.org.
Nobody
News
is to
channel.
leave this area!
It's complete pandemonium out here.
helicopter?
The police are arresting everybody who hasn't already accepted the inoculation.
Right there!
And the United Nations has declared martial law on the entire world. You can't even walk out in the street. We're told that the media will be the last ones to be inoculated. But I can't begin to tell you, they're shooting and killing everyone who's not accepting the inoculation. I was told that this was going to happen, but I didn't believe it was going to be in my lifetime. Wait! You told me that we're going to be able to complete this interview. Wait, you can't do this! You can't do this! No!
What are you saying? Get over here!
But we found
Man,
that we're
I
not.
want that building destroyed. This is it. It's finally over, man. Excuse me. Return home.
You see, everyone, the simple fact, everybody knows what's about to happen. Everybody sees it coming, and they don't know what to do. The problem is, nobody's preparing themselves for what's about to happen. Are you going to be prepared? Are you going to be ready? Well, start looking through your eyes and not through your mind. Open your eyes and you'll be able to see. Thank you.
Once again, all voices are done by the Legal Redress Commission. None of this material is copywritten. We hope you liked it. People, you need to get prepared. So stay tuned to the Legal Redress Commission as we bring you more